and it is their desire to seize ever more power, more money and entire mastery over the whole earth and your humanity for themselves. Therefore it is spreading their evil supremacy over the world, supported by its obedient vassals of all kinds who are greedy for blood as well as profit. Even the powerful ones of the economy are feeling the might and obeying the evil laws of the Dark Order, which is spreading its dangerous and fatal poison of hatred everywhere, into everything and against everyone who does not share the same opinion as the Dark Power. Therefore, you human beings of Earth are no longer active to any great extent, but take the path of idleness with an empty expression in your eyes, knowing not what you should do and where you should go, because you have nothing else to do that brings you joy and a good reward. And you human beings of Earth, both young and old, are the ones who can no longer set down any roots in your life. You wander, demoralized and hopeless, bereft of work and home, with the result that you fight yourselves in all things and you hate your present existence, to the extent of finally bringing it to an end yourself, as has already been the case to an increasing extent since the 20th century and will become ever more widespread in future. Therefore, with the third millennium, this time has already dawned in which these things have quickly found their beginning and will develop ever more rapidly the longer they persist. As a result, the number of diseases and plagues is increasing, as is the number of illnesses that severely impair drinking water and bodies of water because of poisons of various kinds, as well as the air, soil and foodstuffs which grow on trees and bushes as well as in fields, woods, gardens and greenhouses. And still your efforts to counteract all the disasters are in vain, as are your attempts to put a brake on this development, because it is becoming greater and more catastrophic with every day, indeed with every hour and every minute, standing in relation to the rapid increase in overpopulation. Therefore, you human beings of Earth want to resurrect all that had been destroyed so far because of your guilt and lack of rationality as well as irresponsibility, just as you want to keep what has remained whole. All your efforts in this direction are in vain because you do not come to the right conclusion in rationality. And the correct decision is plainly and simply that a global birth control must radically stop overpopulation and, in this way, your earthly humanity be reduced to an extent that is appropriate for the planet and for nature, in which case this extent has been defined in accordance with nature and the planet for the whole earth at 529 million people. Through your senselessness, you human beings of Earth, the rainforests are dying ever faster, resulting in extensive deserts being created at an ever-increasing speed, whilst the glaciers and poles are melting, resulting in increasing sea levels swallowing up valuable land, meaning that millions of you will be driven from your homes and your land which you used to be able to cultivate. Besides this, ever more powerful thunderstorms will rage, starting many fires and killing many of you as well your livestock, whilst ever more severe flash floods of water will fall from the clouds like veritable deluges, destroying and flooding everything, and exacting many deaths. This will occur at the same as droughts parch the land in other places, destroying woods, villages, towns and your homes with vast fires. Through all this and due to the exhaust emissions from chimneys, factories and engines of all kinds which emit particulates and CO2, the air will be increasingly charged with smoke and poisonous emissions as well as with radioactivity, biotoxins and chemicals, resulting in many of you human beings becoming ill and dying. And furthermore, mighty earthquakes and undersea earthquakes will shake Earth, in ever-increasing magnitude, destroying entire cities and razing them to the ground, just like many other things will be destroyed that have been built through senselessness and will continue to be built although the prophetic and predictive warning has been spoken against them. In this way, landslides and mudslides, etc., will bury homes and villages, whilst in other places tectonic movements, underground mining, cavities and watercourses will rend Earth's surface asunder, causing homes and other buildings to sink into the ground. You human beings of Earth, however, choose not to learn from this because you are obstinate and do not want to hear the prophetic and predictive warnings. And in this stubbornness many impoverished and poor people as well as shady characters amongst you will increasingly degenerate. Therefore the plunder will assume ever-worsening forms, in particular wherever others of you human beings are in need, fleeing their homes and having to leave their property behind. Just like the sun is shining dangerously already at the beginning of the third millennium because the ozone layer around Earth had been seriously damaged and permeated, the sun will in future burn Earth even more and bring great harm to the entire world and all forms of life, including to you human beings who will increasingly suffer from skin cancer and severe eye complaints, etc. However, it is not only the sun that will bring great harm to your earthly humanity and the planet, but undersea volcanoes will cause great destruction and boil the waters of the seas, leading to the death of very many more of the water-dwelling life forms that have not already been exterminated by you human beings. During these submarine and also underground movements, forces will be unleashed that will cause certain continents or part of them to disappear underwater. However, all of this contributes to the situation that you are like humiliated dogs in your deceptive belief in religions and sects, shivering in the air of your deluded beliefs that God is punishing the world for your misdeeds. Although you do not recognize that everything bad and all the catastrophes have been and will be caused exclusively and solely through your own guilt, in which case the ever more rampant overpopulation represents the principal reason for all evil degeneracies. The sects that have arisen from all religions, ideologies and philosophies will in future become ever more greedy, sneaky, scrupulous and aggressive, at the same time misusing modern science and the internet for their criminal and irresponsible purposes. In this way, they are using everything that is criminal and unlawful, and even suicidal and murderous as well as terrorist machinations belong to the deceitful message of salvation by means of which new disciples and believers are led astray and made obedient. The religions, sects, ideologies and false philosophies disseminate like poisonous and dangerous viruses which adapt to their changing environment, and they tie their nets in an ever more perfidious way with regard to supermodern electronic soul catching, using ever more modern means, continuously attracting more and more academics and other educated people amongst you and placing them under their spell. And a further disaster, that more and more academics and other highly educated people are being recruited as sect members is due to the fact that you attempt to satisfy your delusion through them, which consists in the cloning of animals and people in accordance with your notions and wishes because you want to have once again what you have lost and are losing through death. And you are doing this whilst at the same time in free nature, in the air, the soil, on the ground and in the waters, you are exterminating species after species and breed after breed of life in an irresponsible way, irrespective of the flimsy reasons for doing this. In this way, you are raising yourselves up to the most evil of all evils while deluding yourself that you are good and creation itself, which you completely fail to recognize due to your religious and sectarian delusions, and wrongly believe it to be a divinity. Ever more fear, poison and hopelessness will envelop you human beings of Earth, and even your children will be afflicted by this when they are set upon by their parents or slave traders, sexually abused, tortured, thrashed and sold. Therefore, however, fear, poison and hopelessness will also threaten the consciousness development of many of you, meaning that you will become apathetic and devoid of rationality. Indeed, there is nothing astonishing about this, because you human beings are being forced ever further away from the truth by false, misleading and irresponsible religions, sects, ideologies and philosophies, as a result of which fewer and fewer of you will recognize the effective truth of creational laws and recommendations, and therefore ever fewer of you will follow them.